Why nothing can ever truly be touched. Touch feels immediate and certain. Skin meets surface. Contact feels absolute, but physics says it never actually happens. To understand why nothing is ever truly touched, we must question sensation. Your nerves report pressure. They report resistance. They report force. But they never report contact. What you feel is something pushing back. At the atomic level, matter is mostly empty space. Electrons surround nuclei like distant clouds. Between them lies vast nothingness. When two objects approach, their atoms never meet. They stop long before that point. What halts them is force. Electromagnetic repulsion grows rapidly. Electron clouds resist overlap. Fields push against fields. The sensation of touch is this resistance. Not contact, but prevention. This realization overturns intuition. Your hand never meets the table. It hovers above it at microscopic distance, held apart by invisible forces. Reality enforces separation everywhere. At first, this feels abstract, but it explains why matter holds shape, why objects do not collapse, why you do not fall through the floor. Touch is an illusion created by balance. This illusion is remarkably consistent. Every solid feels solid. Every surface feels firm. Because electromagnetic forces are strong. They respond instantly. They scale with proximity. Contact is never required. Even pressure is misunderstanding. When you press harder, you increase force. You do not decrease distance meaningfully. Atoms push back harder. Separation remains. This invisible buffer defines the physical world. It allows structure without fusion, stability without collapse, solidity without substance. Nothing touches, yet everything resists. Once this is understood, a deeper question emerges. If nothing ever touches, how does anything interact at all? What connects a universe where separation is enforced everywhere? The answer lies beneath force itself. At first, the separation feels lonely, a universe where nothing meets. But interaction still happens constantly, through fields. Fields fill space entirely. They assign influence at every point. Charges create electric fields. Mass creates gravitational fields. Particles respond without touching. Connection replaces contact. When you push an object, your atoms rearrange slightly. Fields adjust. Forces transmit instantly. The object responds. Action travels without collision. This explains why rigidity exists. Solids resist deformation because their internal forces are strong. Atoms are locked into patterns. Fields hold positions firmly. Touch becomes shared resistance. Even friction follows this rule. Surfaces interlock microscopically. Electrons interact. Fields exchange energy. Heat appears. Nothing ever collides directly. This also explains why merging is rare. To fuse atoms, enormous energy is required. Stars achieve this by extreme pressure. Everyday matter cannot. Electromagnetic repulsion forbids it. Quantum mechanics deepens the story. Particles are not points. They are probability clouds. Overlap creates instability. Nature avoids it. Separation preserves identity. This enforced distance shapes reality. It allows diversity. It prevents collapse. It creates the illusion of objects. Touch is the boundary behavior of fields. Yet this raises an unsettling implication. If everything is separated, then emptiness is not empty. Space must carry connection. It must transmit influence. It must be active. This realization leads directly to the idea of fields as fundamental. Matter becomes secondary. Objects are patterns in fields. Touch is a field interaction event. Once this perspective settles, the world feels different. Surfaces become negotiations. Pressure becomes dialogue. Resistance becomes communication. Nothing touches. Everything responds. And that understanding sets the stage for the deeper mystery. If interaction requires fields, what gives fields their strength? Why do they behave consistently? What enforces the rules of separation? Those questions point toward the deepest structural reality itself. This is where the idea of touch dissolves completely, because fields are not objects. They are conditions, rules assigned to space itself. Electromagnetic fields do not push like hands. They define how charges must behave. Approach triggers response. Distance determines strength. Interaction becomes automatic. These rules are precise, predictable, universal. Every electron obeys them identically. Every charge responds the same way. Consistency replaces contact. Law replaces collision. This reveals why reality feels solid. Fields respond instantly. They resist change. They scale smoothly. Your senses translate this resistance into touch. But nothing ever meets. Even at extremes, separation holds. Neutron stars press matter brutally. Atoms collapse inward. Yet even there, forces resist complete merger. Only under extreme conditions does matter lose its identity. This resistance is not optional. It is enforced by quantum rules. Pauli exclusion forbids identical states. Particles refuse to overlap. Identity demands distance. Touch is fundamentally blocked. This rule preserves structure. Without it, matter would collapse. Atoms would merge. Chemistry would vanish. The universe would become uniform. Separation is survival. Yet this separation does not isolate. Fields connect everything. Every charge influences space. Every mass curves geometry. Interaction happens everywhere, without contact ever occurring. This creates a paradox. The universe is deeply connected, yet nothing ever touches. Influence flows freely. Collision never happens. Reality operates through restraint. Understanding this reshapes intuition. Closeness is not proximity. Connection is not contact. What feels direct is mediated. What feels solid is dynamic balance. The deeper you look, the less touching exists. Only rules responding to rules. Only patterns enforcing separation. Only interaction without meeting. And that prepares us for final realization. If touch is an illusion, then what we call reality is a system of responses. A universe built not from things, but from behavior itself. The climax of this story is counterintuitive. The world feels solid because nothing ever touches. Separation creates stability. If contact were possible, matter would collapse instantly. Atoms would fuse. Structure would vanish. Distance is what keeps forms intact. Touch is your brain interpreting force. Resistance translated into sensation. What feels immediate is actually mediated by fields. Reality communicates, not collides. This changes how we see presence. You never truly meet objects. You negotiate with them. Boundaries are enforced by physics. Every interaction is a balance. This principle reaches everywhere. Chemistry depends on separation. Biology depends on repulsion. Technology depends on controlled distance. Touch is a useful illusion. Understanding this does not alienate the world. It deepens it. Surfaces become conversations. Pressure becomes agreement. The universe responds to approach. Physics strips away intuition, but replaces it with clarity. What holds the world together is not contact, but rules preventing it. Nothing can ever truly be touched. And that is precisely why anything can exist at all. Subscribe to join the journey. Why